There's something about the sound of the morning, that quiet space before the world starts moving. When my alarm goes off, I turn off and then I just be. No music, no headlines, just silence. And in the silence, I start to notice things. The cold air on my skin, the faint song of the birds outside, the way the light hasn't yet decided to be day. And underneath all that, there's a subtle vibration. At first, I think it's me, my breath, my heartbeat, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's the sound of everything, the hum of life, the pulse of earth, the quiet intelligence that moves through all things. And I've learned something about that stillness. The mornings I begin here, before the doing, before the noise, are the days I create differently. Ideas come easier, conversations land deeper, and clients feel the difference even if they can't name it. So what if this stillness, the one we usually rush past, isn't a break from business, but the very source of how we lead, create, and connect? Could that be what we mean when we talk about being? Not doing, not striving, but tuning into the frequency that fuels all of it. Maybe that stillness isn't empty after all. Maybe it's full of energy, of intelligence, of presence. Maybe stillness is how the world tunes itself before it begins to sing. And maybe that's how we do too.
And every time I'm falling, I go to new depths. I will become who I've always been.
Welcome home, inspired entrepreneurs. Take a deep breath. Drop into presence. And today, let's explore something we rarely talk about in business. Being. Why presence is power in the age of AI. You've probably heard the verse, "Be still and know that I am God." Maybe that line isn't about stopping. Maybe it's an invitation to synchronize, to line your own rhythm up with the rhythm of creation itself. Because stillness isn't emptiness. Stillness is presence without resistance. It's that quiet inner space where your signal clears, where the noise of fear and comparison dissolves, and intuition, the language of your being, finally starts to whisper again. There's another line that's always moved me. In Him we live and move and have our being. That sounds poetic, but what if it's also literal? What if it's describing energy, consciousness, the living field that animates everything? When you slow down enough to feel that current, something subtle happens. You remember who you really are. Not a machine, not a list of tasks. Your energy in motion, your consciousness in form, your presence embodied. And that idea, this sacred pause, every wisdom tradition on the planet points here. In Buddhism, stillness is living emptiness, the end of agitation, where peace simply is. In Hinduism, stillness is union with the self, so profound you realize you are the universe breathing itself. In Taoist teaching, stillness is clarity. The mud settles and the water becomes clear. Nature doesn't rush, yet everything gets done. In Islam, stillness is surrender, a moment when the heart bows before the divine, and the soul remembers that peace comes through alignment, not control. The Sufi poets call it divine intoxication. Rumi said, "There is a voice that doesn't use words. Listen." In the Jewish tradition, stillness is sacred rest, the Shabbat within the soul, where creation pauses to remember its source. Early Christian mystics believed in a kind of holy science, a quiet so deep the soul can finally hear God. And in indigenous wisdom, stillness is deep listening, silence as communion, stillness as belonging. Different traditions, same frequency. Stillness isn't absence, it's presence in its purest form. And while every wisdom tradition points to it, science is finally catching up. Neuroscience, quantum physics, even AI research, they're all confirming what mystics have known for millennia, that we are vibrational beings, that coherence, not speed, is what creates intelligence, and that presence, not performance, is where true power lives. Most conversations about performance start with doing. But let's start with being. Because before you take a single action, your state of being has already entered the room. Neuroscience tells us that just a few minutes of silence, a pause, a moment to tune inward, shifts your brain into alpha wave coherence. That's the frequency of creativity, flow, and insight. It lowers cortisol, boosts serotonin, and reorganizes your nervous system for clarity and focus. It literally recalibrates your body to be more alive, more receptive, more tuned in. Heart math calls this heart-brain coherence. When your heartbeat and your brain waves move in rhythm, your electromagnetic field becomes ordered, measurable. Yes, measurable. Your heart isn't just a pump. It's an electrical generator. The field it produces is the strongest in your body, extended several feet beyond your skin. When you're stressed, that field becomes jagged and noisy. When you're calm, present, and grounded, that field smooths into rhythm, coherence, harmony, and people around you feel it. So when we talk about being, what neuroscience shows us is that being is physiological as much as it is spiritual. It's your biology in alignment, your nervous system in harmony, your mind, heart, and breath vibrating in coherence. And here's where it gets truly mind-blowing. Quantum physicists, the ones exploring the deep structure of reality, tell us that all matter, all energy, even thought exists in a unifying field, a sea of vibration connecting everything. Einstein showed us the same thing from a different angle. His famous equation E=mc² revealed that nothing is truly solid. What we perceive as solid matter, the floor beneath your feet, your computer, even your body, is actually energy in motion, condensed into form. So when we talk about being, when we talk about tuning inward, aligning, quieting the waves, we're literally syncing with the fundamental fabric of reality. Your being is energy in its most coherent state, aligned with the same energy that underlies all matter. Stillness is not separate from this. It's the felt expression of being. The moment your waves calm so you can see the ocean beneath. Being is the energy. Stillness is awareness of that energy. Presence is the way it shows up in the world. Scientifically, being is the baseline of consciousness, the electromagnetic hum beneath all thought. When you are coherent, your body, mind, and nervous system vibrate with that hum. Spiritually, stillness is how you access presence. Every tradition calls it something different. Silence, Tao, God, Source, but they are all pointing to the same reality, the presence of being. Quantum physics shows something remarkable. Being is the field of infinite potential. Every possibility exists there, not yet collapsed into form. Stillness, coherence is what collapses that potential into action, into creation. It's the invisible becoming visible. In leadership, this isn't theoretical. When your being is aligned and coherent, your presence fills the room without effort. Teams feel steadiness, clarity, and confidence. Clients feel seen, heard, and understood. Creativity flows naturally. You stop leading from doing and you start leading from being. If what we've been talking about today, stillness, presence, being, is resonating with you, imagine what could happen if you actually had support to integrate it into your life and your business. I work with entrepreneurs, founders, and leaders who want to stop hustling and start leading from presence, to make decisions with clarity, inspire their teams without forcing it, and create more impact while actually feeling aligned. This isn't theory. We build practical habits, reflective practices, and real-world frameworks to make being your superpower, not just something you think about in a quiet moment. So if you've been thinking, I need that calm, that clarity, that edge in my business, now's the time to step into it. Check the show notes. I've got a link for you to work with me and to start experiencing what it's like to lead from being, not just doing. In today's fast-paced business world, success isn't just about strategy, tactics, or working harder. What sets extraordinary leaders apart is something far less tangible and far more powerful. It's your being, the internal state you bring to every decision, every meeting, every interaction determines how you make choices, how your team responds, and how your organization performs. Leaders who cultivate mindfulness and self-awareness make better decisions, foster healthier work environments, and drive measurable results. Take Google's Search Inside Yourself program. It was launched back in 2007. And it was designed to develop emotional intelligence and mindfulness in employees. And the results? Striking. People reported improving focus and clearer decision-making, leading to higher productivity. They handled stress better, demonstrated greater empathy and resilience, and teams led by these employees became more collaborative, innovative, and engaged. So this isn't just soft, feel-good stuff. Harvard Business Review found that leaders practicing mindfulness made 89% more effective strategic decisions and had 76% better emotional regulation under pressure. MIT's Sloan School of Management showed that leaders with higher self-awareness outperform their peers in complex, ambiguous scenarios, making faster, smarter, and more confident decisions. And here's something really interesting. Being isn't just about you. It cascades outwards. When a leader is grounded, coherent, and present, it literally affects the people around them. HeartMath research shows that when your heart and brain are in sync, when your internal system is coherent, your electromagnetic field becomes ordered. That energy radiates out and can subtly influence those around you. Calm leaders calm their people. Teams become steadier. Communication flows. Creativity emerges. Performance rises. So let's talk about AI. AI can crunch numbers. It can analyze trends. It can even predict outcomes, but it cannot embody being. It cannot sense the emotional temperature of a room, intuit the right time to pivot, or cultivate trust, resonance, and presence. That is the human edge, the advantage that no machine can replicate. Leaders who cultivate being make decisions that are not just smart, they're resonant, empathetic, and transformational. being is also the fuel for innovation. Neuroscience tells us that quiet, mindful states boost alpha wave activity, the brain frequency linked to insight, flow, and idea generation. Harvard research confirms that mindful executives reduce cognitive biases, open the door to more creative problem solving, and in short, being drives clarity, insight, and strategic breakthroughs. The numbers speak for themselves. Organizations investing in mindful, self-aware leadership see measurable results. A 30% increase in productivity, a 50% reduction in employee turnover, a 35% improvement in operational efficiency, 7% reduction in healthcare costs, and an extra 62 minutes of productive time per employee per week. All of it comes from leaders tuning into themselves before they act, from cultivating their being. So here's the challenge for you, entrepreneur, leader, innovator. Before your next call, pitch, or critical decision, pause. Feel your heartbeat. Notice your mental and emotional baseline. Tune into your being. When you do, decisions land sharper, teams feel steadier, clients feel truly seen, and ideas flow. Your productivity is going to rise, and you step into the advantage that AI can never replicate. Because in business, your being isn't optional. It's your secret weapon. Take a moment wherever you are. Pause. Close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Think back to everything we've explored today, the science of being, the power of stillness, the edge it gives in business, and the way it shapes teams, decisions, and creativity. Now bring it into your system. Feel your heartbeat. Notice your breath. Sense the subtle vibration of your body. That's your baseline. That's your being. Here's a simple way to practice it. Before your next meeting or your next decision, pause. 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe even 30 seconds. Just be. Notice your internal rhythm. Let your thoughts settle like sediment in water. Feel the space beneath the noise. This is stillness. This is coherence. This is the source of clarity and influence that no checklist, no algorithm, no AI can replicate. And now, as you sit in that space, let's bring it full circle. Here's another way to think about it. Your thoughts and actions are like waves on the ocean. Being is the ocean itself. Stillness is when the waves rest. Presence is when the ocean's depth shows itself in the world above. Science, spirituality, mystics, and quantum physics all point here. When you cultivate coherence, when you nurture your being, you're not just surviving or doing tasks. You're resonating with life itself. You're amplifying intelligence, creativity, and potential through your own system. And maybe the most extraordinary part of this, the more you practice it, the more the world responds. And maybe the most extraordinary part is this. The more you practice it, the more the world responds. Your state of being is contagious. Your field influences others. You create alignment before you ever take a single action. That's why every breakthrough, every inspired idea, every act of creation begins not with doing, but with being. Stillness is how you access it. Presence is how it shows up. So the next time you feel the pressure to push, to act, to hustle, what if stepping into your being, stepping into coherence, is actually the most powerful action you can take? So before we go, I want to leave you with a simple invitation. If today's episode sparks something for you, a new way to think about presence, being, and the energy you bring into your work, share it. Share it with your team, your mastermind, a friend who's hustling too hard, or even on social media. The more we talk about presence in business, the more we normalize it. And remember, it's not about doing more. It's about tuning in, stepping into your being before you act. The ripple that creates isn't just in your life. It touches everyone you lead, everyone you serve, everyone you create with. So take a deep breath. Carry this energy into your next meeting, your next decision, your next idea, and then share the episode. Let's keep this conversation alive. Let's make being in business not just a concept, but a practice. In the next episode, I'll be joined by AI specialist Vivian Welsh for a powerful conversation about being a conscious creator, how we as founders can use AI to amplify human impact. We'll talk about what it really means to lead with consciousness in a world of algorithms, and how to use AI as a creative amplifier rather than a replacement for your intuition, and how founders like you can stay deeply human while building intelligently. So until next time, inspired entrepreneurs, welcome home. Welcome to the Inspired Entrepreneur.
I will grow in my own way. Every day I'm changing, I'm taking small steps, and every time I'm falling, I go to new depths. I will become who I've always been.
And because I care about you and want to keep things above board, here's the quick legal bit. The Inspired Entrepreneur podcast and content posted by 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀 is presented solely for general information, educational, and inspirational purposes. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast or website is at the user's own risk. It's not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional diagnosis or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay obtaining medical, mental health, legal, or business advice for any situation, and should seek the assistance of qualified professionals for any such conditions or decisions.